I finally got up and went back up to the teepee. We were living in a teepee at that time, up above the river. And I picked up this book and started reading it. I think it was given to me by one of these Jesus freaks that used to pick me up hitchhiking into town and talk about Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. All he ever talked about Jesus. And finally I just started cursing this girl and telling her, you know, tell him to get out. I just tell him to stop. They get a driver in the truck. It was a flatbed truck. And she did. I think now she had given me a Bible. She had handed me a small little Bible. And I started reading. And I was just astounded because all through college, I had read all this literature. And I never read a book like this. I mean, it was just astounding what they were doing to this gentle man. They were crucifying him, and I couldn't believe it. Why am I reading this now? After all these years, why didn't they have me read this book a long time ago? Because this is transforming. And somehow I put it together in my mind. That was Jesus. And trying to get my attention. Just kept saying over and over again, Mattole. So after that, I wouldn't use my old name, Walter. Anybody addressed me as Walter, I'd say no. He died. And my name's Mattole. And many years later, I got in all kinds of issues with the welfare department. Said, that's not your legal name. We gotta have your legal name. And I found a friend of mine was a lawyer last year. And he was a owner of property. He wrote a book about buying property. And I went to him and told him, I said, they say I can't use this name, Mattole. And he said, they are wrong. Come here, I want to show you something. He took from his shelves, he had all these laws of California. Books and books and books of laws. And he showed me a law that said it was perfectly legal by usage to go use a different name. And he said it's a leftover from the gold rush days when guys would come out and they were called Yukon Jack or something, and that became their legal name. The son named Yukon Jack, and it was considered legal. And he said, California never changed that law. And you don't have to hire a lawyer and go to court and pay a lot of money to legally change. It's still in the books of California. And I finally wound up getting my passport issued in one name of Mattole. That was another thing. They said you can't have just one name. You gotta have two names. So it's not true. Never forget that lawyer, really, a lifesaver. But anyway, that's how I came to be Mattole, and I bought property in that name, got married in that name, had children in that name. When they asked her at the hospital what was the father's name, she would say Mattole. That went in the record. And that made it legal. I'm a legal parent. Anyway, those days have changed a lot now, 2021. But, and it's the way it was in those days. That was the 70s for me, when we moved up to Edwardsburg, out to Edwardsburg. Well, one of those ideas, those early ideas about hippie ideas of make love not war and drop out of the system and make a new system. And a lot of young people, that's what they're facing today. They're facing the same decision. You can bellyache and march and demonstrate, or the thought in those days was, no, a wiser thing is just to withdraw from the system. Instead of fighting it, just abandon it. And I think that much of southern Humboldt County is made up of people who came out of that mindset, that idea that you don't have to be a greedy capitalist. Instead of complaining about them and bitching about them, why don't you just withdraw? And I think that's the key today. Just abandon those false precepts. Arthur Toynbee was one of the most noted historians of his day, made a statement. The thing about the hippie generation is, and there's been many generations that have abandoned or changed politics or changed philosophies or religions, but this was the first time in the early 60s when the youth of the whole world was beginning to say to their parents, no, I don't buy it. I don't buy that. Americans are my enemies, or the commies are my enemies, or they just started telling their parents, you're wrong. You're just plain wrong. Not about just your politics. Everything you think about is wrong. They were questioning religion and philosophy and economy and politics. And Gene found out when we went to Europe that there's an international group of people that we found on the island of Ibiza we went to. And they were the same way. They were there for the same reasons that we were there for. They were just sick and tired of being told what to do and what not to do, and what was right and what was wrong. And so these Russian fathers were having a hard enough time with their teenage, long-haired kids as the Americans were, Chinese, and making something to think about today, because there's a demonstration, the poor people's demonstration is going on in Washington today. And so the disenfranchisement with the system is as strong today and important today as it was then. And Toynbee said that that revolution, there's been reformations and revolutions in the past, but they're always against something, a church, a religion, or politics, or something like this. But this was the first time the adult generation was being told everything they believed in was wrong. It's pretty hard to have your teenage son or daughter saying, I don't believe in heaven or hell or Jesus or Muhammad or any of them. I don't think they were right. I don't think that's right. And I think the battle's still going on. I think it started in the 60s amongst young people all over the world, questioning authority and questioning their parents and their teachers and their professors and saying, I'm not so sure about that. I know it's hard because I've faced it with my own kids, and I know it's a hard one to take, but I have to remember where it came from. And it came from a very, I think, right, God-given right to question whether something's right or wrong, and not just because someone else is telling you, this is the way it is, this is the way it's got to be. You got to make the sign of the cross and say this prayer or that prayer, or you go to hell. And there's a song, it ain't necessarily so. I got plenty of nothing, and nothing funny for me. That's my final thought, really, is that maybe better than political upheaval and demonstrating is just a withdrawal and from what you think is wrong, withdraw from it and do what you think is right, the way it should be.